We're wasting way too much money on multiple AI tools that aren't actually giving us any return on our investment. Most of us are paying for both ChatGPT and Claude and talking to them like they're our friends rather than our money-making tools. And the worst part is that most people don't realize that they only need just one. So today, we're putting the two latest and most powerful AI tools, Claude Fable 5 Max and ChatGPT 5.6 Soul, head to head to see which actually has the better results and which has the potential to actually make us more money. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and jump straight into it. I already have both models pulled up on my screen. On the right, I have ChatGPT 5.6 Soul, and on the left, I have Claude Opus 4.8. Actually, we need to switch that. So let's switch this over to Fable 5, totally missed it there. And then the effort, let's go ahead and just put everything to the max. Let's really stress it out. Let's see what these two models are really capable of right from the get-go. So I also have 5.6 Soul on extra high. So we should be pretty good to go here. It's gonna be a lot of thinking involved. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and take a prompt that I have, which if you want access to this prompt, it is gonna be in the prompt master sheet. If you want access to that, just stick around a little bit longer. I'll show you how to get it so that way you can get also all of these different prompts that I'm gonna be using. So the first thing that we're gonna be building is going to be a Minecraft inspired 3D game, except it's going to be a pirate themed version. Now, I've seen a lot of different games done using these two different models, and they look extremely impressive. And those are done with like very basic prompts. So right now we have two very detailed prompts, and we're going to go ahead and send them off and see what happens. All right, 1 and 2. All right, so let's see how they start. So for now, they're both thinking. Well, ChatGPT is thinking. Claude was pondering, and now it's thinking. So it's going to build this as a playable browser prototype, then run it locally and verify the full loop. So essentially what it's going to do is it's going to create a browser version of it. So that way you can open it online and play the game. And then it's going to run it locally on the computer. So it's pretty interesting. I want to see how it's going to come out. Now, as far as Claude, it's still thinking about everything. So it's fathoming it right now. So let's just give it a few more minutes. Let's see where we're at with it. So this one is architecting modular game systems and input handling layers. It's doing its thing pretty much. And here what it's doing is it listed the different files, created the new site. Okay, so it's creating a new website. And then it says that the game foundation is ready. That was actually pretty fast. It's only been a few minutes already. I'm now building the actual 3D island and play loop. All right. So they're doing their thing. We just want to check up on them every once in a while, see how they're doing. So far, it seems like they're doing good. So we'll check back in that in just a second. So ChatGPT is currently still doing it. It's connected, finishing the browser setup. So this one actually looks like it's finalizing right now. Okay, so let's check back in with Claude now. And it looked like it had reached its limit. So I went ahead and told it to continue. So it's going to go ahead and keep doing that. And the Pirate Sandbox has finished. So in total, ChatGPT made our game in just under 15 to 20 minutes. Claude is taking a little bit extra. I had to hit continue a couple of times because Claude actually reaches its usage limit a few times for specific chats. So if you're using, or if Claude is thinking too much in a chat, it's eventually going to stop and it's going to say, yo, I reached my limit. Just hit continue and keep going. Why does it do that? I don't know. To me, it's a bit time wasting. But ChatGPT, on the other hand, just straight up did everything it needed to. So here it's telling us that we have our playable 3D Pirate Sandbox game. It named it Tideforge Pirate Sandbox. And here's everything that it included. Now, as far as Claude, right? Claude, after I told it to continue, it's going to pick up right where I left off. Just so you know though, ChatGPT, because it kept running and it kept doing all its work the way it was supposed to and there was no pauses, it actually finished a lot quicker than Claude did. ChatGPT 5.6 Soul took, all in all, I want to say about 40 to 45 minutes, whereas Claude actually took over an hour. I want to say about an hour, hour 15, because every few times I had to go back to it and then realize, oh, I have to hit continue. So that's something that you always have to be aware of. Now, Claude did also give me a description on the game itself. It gives us instructions and everything. And in order to play them, all we have to do is simply download the HTML files or the website files that they created. So first, let's start with Claude, because Claude is actually also seemingly now the more expensive version. Because if we click over here, and we go to our settings. If we click on usage, this can vary for a lot of people, but I did have this almost towards the beginning. So I do want to say that if I had to estimate how much it cost me to make this game, it probably cost me, I want to say, anywhere between $50 to $70, which by all means, to create a game, that's extremely cheap. But that also takes up a lot of our credits. Now, as far as ChatGPT never had any issues. I never ran into any usage issues, and it just keeps working. It looks like its limits are a lot higher as well. So in terms of affordability, in terms of speed, so far ChatGPT actually has a pretty big advantage because again, it's so far been cheaper. It hasn't warned me about any usage limits, about any pricing limits, or really even reaching any limits, period. While Claude did stop a few times. I reached our limits. I had to wait a little bit until everything was reset. And ultimately, like I said, just to create this one game, it was about 50 or 60 bucks. And the thing with Fable 5 Max is that Fable 5 isn't fully part of your plan. It is up to a certain extent. Once you hit the limit for Fable 5, you're going to be charged API credits. And API credits are pretty expensive because you're getting charged per use. So overall, Fable 5, whatever effort level you have it on, is going to be more expensive in the long run than ChatGPT will be. But let's go ahead and see what they came up with. So let's download Plunder Isles from Claude. So it did download it to my downloads folder over here. All I have to do is double click the HTML file. This is crazy. Just by looking at this, it's already absolutely mind-blowing. This is a Plunder Isles. It gives us a how to play and a new voyage. This is crazy. All right, so let's start a new voyage. I have a boat. Oh my god. Okay, so WASD, that's the typical gaming setup. That's how you walk. This looks so much like Minecraft. The blocks are so good. Space jumps. If I click into one of these and hold it, it breaks it, it mines it. That's crazy. All right, let's see. Oh, we even have a few. Oh, look at that. I did a deed. Shiver me timbers. I guess I had to collect something. Has some sound effects. That's pretty cool. It has built-in sound effects. To think that this was all generated in like an hour or so. And you see all of that over there. We can keep building and keep going. All right, enough of this. Let's see what else we can do. Okay, so oh, it's raining. That's crazy. I did not expect that one. All right, let's see. Oh, we have the instructions down here. So click to look, WASD to move, L click to mine. Okay, that's the left click. Attack is R. Oh no, left click is to attack and then also mine. And then right click is to place and use. E is for inventory, M is for map. Okay, so let's check out the inventory. What does that do? Oh, we can craft. What? So I crafted some of these. Can I place them? There it is. So the right click will place it. Let's check out our map. Oh, I need to find the treasure map. So search the old shipwreck. What? This is crazy. I think I should turn into a streamer. What do you guys think? Should we turn AutoDS into a streaming channel where we make our own games and stream them? That'll be pretty sick. Oh, I think this is our map right here. Oh, looks like we fell into a glitch here. That's okay. Oh, we had to hit F. Oh, okay. I think we ran into our first glitch, but that's okay because when we run into glitches, they're easy to fix, right? All we have to do is go back to Claude and tell it to fix the glitch. We have to tell it what happened and it can fix it for us. Okay. All right, so now that it's turning nighttime, there's going to be skeletons. So we are going to have to fight. So let's just wait a little bit. Oh no, where'd they go? Yo, this is a hard skeleton. There you go. Oh, there you go. I died. Okay, well, this was Plunder Isles. This is what This is what Claude came up with, and I think it is absolutely fantastic. So now let's see what ChatGPT came up with. Now ChatGPT is opening it up in its own browser. So let me actually expand this for just a second, and let's do continue with ChatGPT. It's not working. So I think that's because I'm using the web version of it. If you were to download the desktop version, it would work a little bit better. But what we can do is click on preview. There we go. And then up here, click on open. So it opens it in any tab. All right, so I'm not entirely sure what happened, but when I tried to open it from ChatGPT, it gave me this error, but that's fine because that's the perfect time to show you guys how we can fix something like this. So simply take a screenshot and set it and say, this game isn't working. Can we download it to work? So give it an alternative, or simply just tell it it's not working and it'll fix the issue. But if you have any ideas on how maybe it can work, if you have thought about this before, if you've come across this issue before with other apps that you've built, then you can definitely suggest different workarounds or different ways to get it to work. So I did that, and it simply said that yes, it's going to package it as a game to be able to download and just simply run it on my computer. Besides that, it starts stepping out everything that it's been doing, and it's still currently finishing it up. So I want to say it's been about an extra 10 minutes. So in a couple minutes, I'll just check right back. I wanted to give you a quick update. Okay, so literally like a minute after I told you I would be right back, it finished. So now it's telling us, all right, it created the server-free offline edition. All we had to do is go ahead and download. But let me see if I click on preview here. And then click on open. Perfect, okay. So it fixed whatever it needed to do. We can go ahead and download the game if we want, or we can play it through the browser like this. Now, if we put them side by side, I think that this one definitely looks a lot more interactive just from the screenshot, or not the screenshot, but from the starting page. It looks a little bit cleaner. Yeah, this one looks a bit more, well, I want to say that the Claude one does look a bit more like Minecraft would look, but this just looks a little bit more premium. So let's go ahead and click on begin voyage. And all right, so right off the bat, it feels a lot smoother. Let's see how the controls are. So follow the map, the red X waits beyond the palms. Okay, so we have to follow the map. The controllers are the same. We automatically go over everything. It's actually flipped. So when I try to go left, it goes right. Here we have the monsters available during the daytime. Can I click this? Yes. The X stayed floating, so we would have to tell ChatGPT to fix that. I had to destroy that guy. Okay, so I recovered the treasure. Can I build? Yes. Okay, so we're building the exact same way that we were previously. So overall, everything does look really good. This runs, it feels like it runs a little bit smoother. The only thing is that there are a couple glitches. Like, for example, you can jump, but there's really no need to, since you could just climb onto everything by walking. Now, let's see. WASD is to move, drag to look, space to jump, F to break and attack, which is essentially the same thing as clicking, and Q to place, which again is essentially the same thing as the right click. But I don't have anything here. What is this? All right, well, let's see what else. And this has the same glitch apparently when it comes to the boat, where it gets stuck there. Now, overall, while the intro did look a lot better, I want to say Claude probably came up with a better product, or better MVP, minimum viable product. It's raining too, but here we're kind of just like walking on the water here. So the water does look really smooth. It has a shadow, which is actually pretty cool. That's very detail oriented. That has a lot of detail into it. That takes a lot to do. Overall, both games came out really, really good. But if I had to choose between the end product, I want to say this one is a lot smoother. It looks a little bit more premium, and it's cool because it has like those wind lines going through. But as far as functionality, Claude definitely took it. But Claude was also a lot more expensive, and I came across a few different issues, and it was a little bit longer. So they both have their pros, they both have their cons. Which one would I personally go with at the end of the day to make a game? Honestly, I don't think you could go wrong with either, because at the end of the day, once you create the first version, you're going to have to keep iterating on it. You're going to have to keep telling it, okay, this works, this doesn't, fix this. Now, when it comes to creating these things with AI, whether it be Claude or ChatGPT, That's usually how it's going to go. So I know that all of you came to see what we made, but also to find out how we can monetize these things. So there are a couple of different ways that we can make money off this game. For one, we can simply just sell it as a digital product. We can sell the game, one-time purchase, done. The other option is to have it completely free or make it freemium, meaning you can have it free to use, but there are going to be ads every once in a while. So you can attach Google AdSense to this. All you need to do for this is create a Google AdSense account and have Claude or ChatGPT implement those ads into the game. So that way, whenever somebody's playing, ads can pop up. If somebody clicks on them or somebody just watches them, you make a couple of cents off of each one. This is going to greatly depend on how many people actually play your game, because ads don't bring in a lot of revenue, but if you have a lot of users, then you can be looking at a pretty penny there. And then the third option is going to be to create a merch store. You can keep it for free and then just create a merch store for it. You can do something like print on demand. Everything that you have in the game, maybe the different characters that you create, the different sprites, the different animations, whatever it may be, maybe different sayings, you can go ahead and use AutoDS print on demand to be able to put that on a t-shirt. You can make things like posters with, let's say in this case, your map. Obviously, this is a pretty basic map, but if you keep building up on it, it's going to get a lot more sophisticated, a lot better looking, a lot more aesthetic. And again, all of that is available through AutoDS Print on Demand. And the best part about that is that you don't have to keep any inventory. You don't really have to do anything. Whenever somebody goes to your store and places an order, AutoDS will go ahead and fulfill that order for you and ship it directly to the customers. So you can keep focusing on the app and creating more, essentially merch. All right, so there goes the game. Now, as you saw, the games are good. They're fantastic. It's amazing. It's something that's really, really impressive, I guess you could say, to make. But it's also something that can get very technical and it can get very time consuming. So let's kind of piggyback on what we said earlier and let's make next a store. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and continue with the video game side of things. Let's go ahead and make it a bit more premium. Let's make it a little bit more sophisticated, and let's target the high rollers. So let's go ahead and create a website or an e-commerce site that's going to be focused around watches. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my prompt from the prompt master sheet, which, by the way, if you want access to that, just go ahead and drop a comment down below letting me know which one do you like more. Do you like ChatGPT so far, ChatGPT 5.6, or Claude Fable 5? Which one of these two AIs is so far your favorite? Which one is impressing you more? I'm not going to tell you my favorite one till the end, so make sure you stick around if you want my opinion. But let me know down in the comments below and I'll send you over the master prompt cheat sheet. So let's go back and let's start a new chat. And I'm going to go ahead and take my master prompt over here and I'm going to go ahead and paste it. I have a little blank spot over here. This is going to be for you. If you want your website to be modeled after Apple, then go ahead and put apple.com. If you want it to look like, I don't know, let's say the Nike website or something along those lines, then just go ahead and put it here, and Claude or ChatGPT are going to go ahead and take that and use it as inspiration. In this case though, the one that I'm going to be using as inspiration is one of my favorite websites, which I think looks really good. It's very aesthetic. It's very nice, is Aura Ring. So I'm going to go ahead and put that here. Now I'm going to take it from here. I'm going to copy it onto Claude. The reason I didn't do it in Claude is because when you paste a long piece of text like this on Claude, it converts it into essentially like a little text document, which you can't really edit. Actually, you can edit if you click into it, and then you can just change it through here. But it does paste it like this, just so you know. Whereas ChatGPT, sometimes will do that if it's way too long, but in this case, it wasn't long enough, so it was able to make it all as text. So once again, extra high, Fable 5 Max. Now, just so you know, you don't need to have Fable 5 Max for this. You can get away with using high, medium, or even low. Fable is extremely powerful, but since we are testing these and putting them and trying to push them to their limits, I'm going to keep everything at the highest possible. All right, so I have both of my prompts pasted. Let's just go ahead and send them. And let's see how they start off. All right, so thinking. Okay, so now Claude AI is already starting to check out Aura Ring. It's already checking out the website, whereas ChatGPT is saying that it's using the site's workflow to build so it can generate a full responsive storefront. Okay.
10 minutes later.
But for now, Claude is still doing its thing. It's creating the luxury watch e-commerce site. So it's starting to design it. It's got the head and core CSS tokens. CSS is really just the layout of it, how everything looks, the different colors. So it looks like it's starting to finish up, while ChatGPT is currently reading the layout and configuration files. So it looks like it's still doing its thing. So let's go ahead and leave them alone for a few minutes and see what they do.
5 minutes later.
So Claude is still reading the front end. It's architecting craft section titles and finalizing content structure. So it's finishing up essentially all of the different content. And then ChatGPT is currently using the live reference as a visual recipe. So it's actually taking everything it sees in Aura and it's making its own way, making its own page out of it. It's using it as inspiration. So right now, Claude is currently reading its front end design skills. So that way it can actually create a nice website for us. And then ChatGPT is reading the site's building skill. Now let's do a quick challenge, right? Let's see how fast these two are going to create a website for us and how fast we can create our own website using a totally different separate AI. Because I'm going to be honest with you, while Claude AI and ChatGPT both come up with exceptional looking websites, unfortunately, it's just the front end. There's going to be a lot more that you need to do in order to get them to work. You're going to have to add a payment processor. You're going to have to figure out how you can integrate that. You're going to have to create a backend. You're going to have to create an admin side, a way to receive orders, and a way to be able to fulfill those orders, to buy labels and all that stuff. So honestly, while this is going to create an amazing website, which you're going to see right now, in order to have something functional fast, we have a few different options. So for now, let's just open up a new tab. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so we can kind of see what's going on in the background. And we're going to go to BuildYourStore.ai. Let's go ahead and drop a timer down here to see how fast we can do this. And we're going to go ahead and build our free store. Now let's go ahead and start here. Okay, click on that now. All right, so let's go ahead and just go through the motions really fast. This is not going to take too long. Let's do fashion and apparel since it's the closest to our current niche. We're going to go ahead and take these two banners. We can change them later on. It's not a big deal. Now we're going to go ahead and claim our store really fast. All right, our email is already pre-filled. Go ahead and continue. Okay, create the account. Let's go ahead and claim our store. Let's check back in the back. Oh, ChatGPT wants to use the browser. All right, allow for the chat. And Claude is doing its coding thing. All right, so we are good so far on Shopify. All right, now we need to quickly go ahead and activate our store. All right, let's go through here. Now, just so you know, when it comes to activating your Shopify store, there is going to be a trial period. There's always some sort of trial period, and there's always going to be a nice promotion. Right now, it's $1 each month for the next 3 months. And it's been like that, I think, for about just over a year. So it should be that, but if it's not, there's always something going on. All right, so we're good on this part. Let's run back to build your store. Click on I'm done. Now let's go ahead and click on our free beginner store. We want to just keep it basic for now. Where are we at with these two? They're still doing their thing. All right, no thanks. Customize my store. And now what Build Your Store is doing is it's customizing our store. It's actually creating the theme. It's installing everything. It's adding all of our different images, the banners that we chose, all of that. Now we need to register to AutoDS. AutoDS, what it's going to do is it's going to give us access to hundreds, if not thousands, of winning and trending products, like the ones that you see here. Click on the handpicked products. These are all products that are chosen by expert e-commerce owners and dropshippers that pick products that are currently trending that are actually proven to sell. So we're going to have access to an entire database of that. So let's go ahead and register and then click done. And now we need to access our store. Now, when we access our store, what we need to do is going to be to remove the password. So let's run back to Shopify. Let's go ahead and close this out. Let's run over to our online store over here. And then we're going to remove our password. And that's it. Our store is live. Now, before we check it out, let's go ahead and finish this. Go ahead and click through done. We're going to have now, how did you hear about us? Obviously, just put YouTube and put Mario sent me. Long video, and then save and continue. Now you're gonna have an option to go ahead and generate your first viral video using the help of Create UGC. This is a very powerful service that allows you to create lifelike AI UGC videos to help promote your products. So that's gonna be there if you choose. You can go ahead and click on done. Now we can also register a domain. So if we want to have our own website name, we can go ahead and put that here. So let's say something like mywatchdeluxe.store. It's always going to be a .store domain, not .com. If it's available, you can go ahead and claim it, and you can add your password. So that way later on, you have access to that domain through the account. Good to go here. Now we need to connect it to our Shopify store. To do that, just click on here, go ahead and click on connect existing. And we just put in what we just did. mywatchdeluxe.store. Oh, that's not what I did. mywatchdeluxe.store. And good to go. Now, it's not going to take effect immediately. It might take up to 24 hours for you to go to that website, and then it'll actually load up your store. But it is pretty quick and it's pretty simple, as you saw. And that's it, we're done. Now you can take a course if you want on how to start dropshipping and learn everything you need to know about e-commerce from one of our very own e-commerce experts, Laurent. But we're pretty much done. So let's check out where these two are at. They're still doing their thing. They're still generating everything. So for now, let's check out what we were able to create in 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and close out of this. And our online store, let's view. And this is what it created. So this is what we have. This is very nice. It's converting. It's aesthetic. It's not overbearing, which is what I really like. I don't like websites that are just overcrowded, too much text, too many images, pixelated images. This is very niche focused, which is one of the best part too. So we have all this stuff here. We have our catalog. And if we run to the actual catalog, we have the different products that were imported using AutoDS. So let's go ahead and click into one of these. We have our product page. Everything looks good. We have a nice little animated announcement banner. We have a bundle and save option. We have our different variations. Oh, that's nice. When you click on a different variation, it changes the actual image. So that's good. It's very interactive. Then we have some reviews. We have a nice little section here with some product information. This is great because I don't know if you've seen it before. There's websites sometimes where you have a huge piece of text and a bunch of images later. So overall, looks really good, fully working, ready to start taking sales and actually, taking payments, and it makes it easy for us to fulfill. And then we have AutoDS that's going to actually take care of the fulfillment for us. So these two are still doing their thing. Let's go ahead and let them finish up, and we will be right back.
1 hour later.
Okay, so after about 30 minutes for ChatGPT and maybe 40 minutes for Claude, they are finally done. And Claude, again, it has those parts where you have to tell it to continue. So that's why you see here continue. And yeah, let's see what it came up with. Let's go ahead and download. All right, let's go ahead and refresh it. You have that nice little animation that looks very premium, very modern, very luxurious. And you have this cool little animation here with a watch. That's nice. Aural Geneve. These are all completely generated, by the way, by Claude. So let's go ahead and take the rest of the website out. We have this up here, complimentary insured worldwide delivery, 5-year international warranty. It's pretty nice. I like the gold on black. It looks very premium, very luxurious. This right here is very nice. I like the fact that when you scroll over it, it stops. We have our different watch families. We have the dive, the dress, the chronograph, most requested. If you're noticing, as you scroll through, it has the different animations. So here you have the text that scrolled up. Over here, they all, I think, scrolled in. Let's see. This right here isn't fitting the entire screen, so this is missing some right here. You have this fading in, you have the little texts coming up. Very nice. It's very nice. You hover over it, you have the little animations. It is kind of long though. It is a pretty long website. And you have your reviews and a newsletter subscription. And then you have all of your pages here. Now, remember what I told you earlier, how you have a beautiful website, but it's not functional? This is what I'm saying. So if we click on terms and conditions, it's going to take you to the top because there's no terms and conditions page. If we click on the warranty terms, nothing. Accessibility, nothing. Cookie policy, nothing. Returns and exchanges, nothing. We click on that, it takes us over here. See, I can't pronounce that, I'm not even going to try. So let's check out the shop really fast. Let's go to the all watches, and this is going to take us to our catalog. So this is pretty cool. We have this on the side. This looks nice. Let's click into any one of these. Let's click into this one. And this looks good. I like the little zooming. Doesn't necessarily fill up the entire frame, but that's okay. That's something you can easily fix. And overall, everything looks really good. I like this right here. You have your separate options. Pretty good. Everything does look really good. But then if we add to bag, it adds it to this little checkout. And then when we check out, we can go through everything, right? So let's say test at Gmail, Mario 5555 North 58 Terrace, maybe Melbourne 55845. Oh, this is pretty cool. It gives us all these extra options here. This is, by the way, all completely fake. None of this is going to work. So Mario, my credit card number is and that's it. So the order has been placed and nothing's going to happen. I'm not going to receive an email saying that somebody placed an order. My customer's not going to get charged. Literally nothing's going to happen. And again, if you want that to work, there's going to be a lot more to implement. You're going to have to implement Stripe so that way you can start taking payments. If not Stripe, you can do Square. But then you're going to have to learn how to work with APIs, which honestly, it's not that hard. It's something that you can definitely learn, but it can get very technical and it's just not for everybody. So that's why I love Build Your Store, because it creates everything for you and it's actually functional. But now let's check out the one from ChatGPT. So let's go ahead and preview it here. Let's go ahead and open it. That was pretty nice. I liked how that opened. Let's refresh it one more time. Okay, so I like how it opens up like that. This is very nice. That background image is very nice. Everything looks very premium. It's white instead of black and gold, which I kind of dig a bit more. I feel like this actually looks more sophisticated and more premium. The only thing is that this is a huge image. So we would have to tell ChatGPT to make it a little bit smaller, but it does have the same types of animations. It has the fading in. And it's actually using real pictures. So if we click into any one of these, let's see what they do. Oh, it actually clicked into the watch itself. Well, that's pretty cool. But let's check out the shipping and returns. Nothing. Well, it says that the guide was opened, but there's nothing. Product care, it says opened, nothing. Boutiques, coming soon. Okay, so let's see what happens in the checkout. Same way that Claude works. And yeah, it's gonna be the same thing. So we go through this, it's gonna accept our order, and ultimately nothing's gonna be able to happen. But at the end of the day, they're both very nice, very stunning, and very aesthetic websites. And it didn't take that long to make. It did take about 40 minutes or so, but for the end result, it's really good. But if you do want them to work or be functional, it's gonna take a lot more. But there are different ways that you can take these themes and apply them to, let's say, the Shopify store that we just opened. And if you want to learn more about that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and let me know down in the comments below. If enough people want to see it, maybe we'll cover it. Now, in terms of marketing your e-commerce business or your dropshipping business or your store, whether it be the store that you created with Build Your Store or ChatGPT or with Claude, you can always market them by my personal favorite, organic marketing, which is essentially creating your own TikTok videos, creating your own videos to promote your product and not putting any ad spend behind it. And then the other option is going to be by running ads for your website or for your different products. Now, I have an entire video that teaches you how to create pretty stunning and very realistic AI UGC videos with any product, something that looks like this. And if you do want to learn how to make AI videos like that, just go ahead and check out that video there. It's also going to be linked at the end of this video. Now, in terms of our price on how much this came out to, ChatGPT, we didn't have any issues. It just did everything that it needed to do, never hit any limits. Claude, it did hit a couple of limits a few times. And overall, when I checked the usage, I'm estimating it took me about $20 to about $30 to create this. So with that being said, between Claude and ChatGPT, which one is better? Again, this is going to be something that's very subjective and it's going to depend on what you're looking for. Me personally, I liked how ChatGPT made the website. I liked the style of it. To me, it was a bit more aesthetic. It was a bit more appealing. It was definitely a little bit faster. And ultimately, I do want to say that for the website design, ChatGPT is going to be the winner. Claude worked. It got everything done very nicely. Everything looks amazing. I'm not going to say that it did a bad job because it didn't. It did a fantastic job. But between ChatGPT 5.6, Soul, and Claude Fable 5 Extra, I gotta give it to ChatGPT on this one. But if we had to put these along with Build Your Store, I would definitely have to say that in terms of the overall aesthetic, still ChatGPT wins, but functionality, speed, and price, hands down, Build Your Store. Because on top of everything, Build Your Store is free. The only thing that you really have to pay for is going to be the trial that you do for Shopify and the trial that you do for AutoDS if you choose to go that route. Which, if you do want to check it out, the link to it is going to be down in the description below, and all of it is going to be in the cheat sheet. So remember to let me know down in the comments below which one of these two you like best, Claude or ChatGPT, and let's throw in Build Your Store in there. So those were a few real world examples on what you can use Claude Fable 5 Max and ChatGPT 5.6 So Extra for. Let me know which one of these was your favorite down in the comments below. Remember, once you do that, I'll give you access to the prompting cheat sheet. Now, if I had to choose between ChatGPT and Claude, which one is going to be my personal choice? Up until now, it's been Claude because Claude has different connectors. I like using Claude to be able to connect to my base 44. I like it to connect to my Shopify store. I even use it to connect via MCP to my AutoDS, so it can give me information on all of my stores, whether that be my eBay, my TikTok, my Facebook Marketplace, my Shopify, whatever it may be. It gives me all the analytics. It lets me import products. It lets me do all of that stuff, and it's very simple and straightforward. But ChatGPT lately has been really ramping it up, and I'm pretty sure ChatGPT is going to get to the point where it's also doing the exact same stuff that Claude is in terms of the connectors. Now, there are already different plugins and different connectors and MCP options for ChatGPT, but they're not widely available. They're not available to everybody. But then again, Claude does require you to have a paid subscription in order to access these different connectors as well. But for now, I still want to say that my personal choice is going to be Claude, but ChatGPT is probably just like 1 point under Claude. They're hand in hand. Like, it's really hard to choose. The only reason I'm choosing Claude is because of all of those extra functionalities. But again, ChatGPT is easier to work with, in my opinion. It is a lot more understanding of simpler text, simpler prompts, and simpler conversation, whereas Claude is a lot more technical. And not just that, Claude also has a lot more limits in terms of the usage that you can use per session or per day, whereas ChatGPT seems to have longer limits or bigger limits. And remember, if you do want to learn how to create AI UGC videos using Claude and Higgsfield, check out this video right here.